Great. Those of you that if maybe you're watching the recording, I'm sorry, I forgot to start it. Here we go. Okay, come back to center from that twist. Inhale up through the crown of the skull again. And then exhale, rotating the other way. Another deep inhale, and then with your exhale, go ahead, turn back to center. Let's inhale, reach the left arm up. And exhale, side bend. So when you have your right hand out on the ground, can you use the connection through the right hand to find the left sit bone to help open the space between the lower left rib cage and the crest of your pelvis on that left side? How do I keep expanding, opening, broadening, lengthening? Inhale, come up. And release. And your next inhale, right arm rises, lift it up. Exhale. So you walk the left hand out and then plant the left hand. Use it to help you find your right sit bone. And I'm just going to encourage you to really see if you can put your attention into the back lower ribs, right, Ingrid, where we were really working yesterday, to the crest of the pelvis on that same side. How do you create space there? Can you draw the breath in there? And then we'll inhale, come up. Exhale, release both hands. Okay, one more time. Inhale, lift both arms. We're still seated, lifting both arms, reaching from the ground all the way up through the fingers. And then your exhale, you're going to turn the palms, reach them out, reach out the heels of the hands, fingernails drop back, and we let the arms come all the way back down. Okay. So let's open the upper back a little bit. So if you, let me move this thing a little. Okay, so you're going to take 2 blocks, please, end to end. And let's place a blanket on top of those blocks. And we're going to open the upper back. Some of you might, know now that you need a little off-ramp for the neck. So you can put just a little slight off-ramp for the back of the neck so that as the head comes down, if you need that. And then when you come back, you're going to lower yourself down so that the shoulder blades find. So the blocks are right below, right the lower tip of my shoulder blade. Hands are going to come behind the head, elbows toward each other so that the upper back is broad. I'm going to take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, can you find a little tone in the deep belly? When you do, you're going to notice like, oh, I can pull these lower ribs down slightly. Keep the lower ribs slightly down as you start to come up and over the blocks without hurrying. If you go slow enough that you're being present for these different places in the spine, I'm still well supporting my head. I get to a place where I know, oh, now I might take the upper part of the lungs and let them also go back. back towards the apex of the lungs, which is that high point above your collarbone. I'm going to let them come with me. I'm going to remember about lifting top of the breastbone. I might shift my hands. If my neck is okay, I might shift them towards the top of my head. Some of you might keep your hands at the back of the head the whole time. Some of you might feel like, oh, my head feels fine, my neck is okay. And those, you can take the arms, if it's all right, and reach them, palms toward the sky. Arms can be pretty wide. They don't have to be right alongside the ears. And you could still have the hands behind the head, that's fine. Can you get up and under the top of your breastbone, the top of the manubrium, get under there, let that roll up. Let the ribs 1, 2, let them roll up. Collarbones roll up. All right, then we're gonna, if the hands aren't behind the head, we'll put them behind the head. Again, elbows in toward each other. Deep breathing, please, everyone. And then with your next exhale, you can begin to lift your head with your hands back toward your chest. You start to peel the upper back away from the blocks. Straighten one leg. And you're welcome to reach either both arms toward the leg as you sit up. All right, so let's take, just in seated right now, let's straighten the right leg and have the left foot on the ground. And let's go ahead and reach the left hand. You can, make sure your blocks aren't in the way. Left hand behind you. And we can have just the right hand at the outer left knee. We're just doing a gentle twist. And releasing. We'll switch legs. So left leg long, right knee bent. Right hand behind. And the exhale, again, turning toward the right. Okay. Great, and then we come back to center. All right, so now can you go ahead and come down to the ground again? This time you're lying on the floor. And you can take the arms out like at 45 degrees. Last week we had a strap going under probably the upper lumbar area, L1, L2 area, T12, that area. So if you were here last week when we were doing a little work, can you remember that strap that was back there? We were doing a little flossing and helping to find stability. So with your next exhale, pick up your heels. Slide the lower front ribs a little down toward the pelvis. I know, people get really confused about that. So you're making the back body broad. Back body broad by really drawing the deepest abdominal layer, transversus, coming, it's wrapping all the way around the back body. It's underneath and coming forward. You could imagine everything coming up toward really the midline of the body, the linea alba, or you could say, you could even include the navel. So everything's drawing from the back body towards the front body. You feel the space, the back body very connected to the ground. And then let's just pick up the feet. When you lifted your feet from the floor, can you still stay broad across the back body? So it's more weight, we were asking more. Or did your back body leave the floor? And then let's go ahead, lower the toes, lower the heels, and rest. I'm going to make sure my chair is not in my way if I decide to straighten my legs here in a moment. So nothing's in my way. Okay. Then again, both feet are on the ground. Deep inhale, exhale, we pick up the heels. Find that tone, deep tone. And then we take the feet. Again, what's happening at the back? Let's keep it broad. Let's lift maybe the shins parallel. Exhale, toe tap the right. And back up. Exhale, left. And back up. So as I'm toe tapping, as I'm, moving, the pelvis is moving here. But am I steady and stable through the abdominals? So my connection with the back body isn't changing with the ground, even as my legs are moving. One more on each side. And then we'll lower both feet and the heels and relax. Okay, now let's take left foot is on the ground, right leg straight up to the sky. Exhale, lower the right leg to be even with the left thigh. So the two thighs about the same height. Right there, did your low back arch away from the ground? Can you keep it connected? All the way, right? Like that T12, L1 connected to the floor. And then if you lower your leg another, what is it, 6 inches? Are you still able to maintain that connection? If you cannot, then lift the leg back up until you do find it. Lower a tad more. And then let's inhale, lift. Exhale, put the right foot down. Deep breathing, relax. Left leg up. So when I lift my left leg up, when you press into your right heel on the ground, the right heel, feel how that assists you. That helps you to find the tone in the belly right now. So connecting the right heel to the floor, I can notice that it's easier for me to slide my ribs down towards my navel. And with the next exhale, as you lower the left leg to be even with the right thigh, keep some pressure on the right heel. And you might lower the leg another 6 inches. And then let's inhale, lift the leg up. And exhale, both feet on the floor. Let's walk the feet out as wide as your sticky mat. And drop the right knee in towards the left big toe. And we'll slide maybe the right arm overhead alongside your right ear. So here, you're lengthening out from the lower right rib cage, the outside of the pelvis, yes, between that hip point, the ASIS, and the front of the greater trochanter, the right thigh, lengthens toward the right knee. This is active in the reaching. And then we'll lift the leg back up, slide the arm back down, walk the feet back together for a moment. Walk them apart. Left knee drops in, reaches toward the right big toe. I might slide my left arm up to be alongside my left ear. And then I want to get a sense of this length is coming all the way from up high. It's coming from lower ribs, pelvis, that whole space between that hip point, the ASIS, the front of the greater trochanter, the front of the outer hip, and the front of my thigh all the way to the left knee. All right, and then we'll inhale back up, take the arm wide, walk the feet back toward each other, and then let's bring both knees to the chest. We can take our hands behind the thighs, hug the knees in. Inhale, take them an arm's length away. Exhale, hug them in. And again. And then we'll release that, roll over to one side, use the arms, push yourself back up, come to all fours. And take your right leg back, left arm forward. So lift the base of the skull up. You're reaching into the ground with the right hand, the left shin. Tone in the belly. There's deep tone here. Exhale. Can you lower the right knee and left hand? Gracefully back. Inhale in the middle. Let's exhale, cat. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Inhale, table. And then when you're ready, you can lift left leg, right arm. So you're pressing into the left hand, the right shin. Lengthen through the crown of the skull. Exhale, lower. Good. Walk the hands forward or walk the knees backward, whichever. There's puppy pose where you're reaching all the way into the hands. The hips are high. Great. Deep breathing. Deep breathing. Then those of you that are gonna, some of you might stay in puppy pose. Some of you might walk the hands back and take downward dog pose. You get to make the choice that is the best and most, nourishing and supportive. We're gonna inhale. All of us have the option of going to plank. So even if you're in puppy, you walk the hands back and you come into plank. Or least, you might just put the forearms down, or maybe this isn't even right now. Neither of these are right if you've got the elbow tendonitis going on. And then we'll lower both knees. Now, just in working to continue to develop strength in our arms and also the strength that we have in the abdominals. I don't want you to come all the way to the floor. You're gonna bend the elbows. Can you bend them straight back? Start to lower your chest and then push back up straight arms. Exhale, go part way down, straight arms, back up. So you're working on the strengthening piece. Inhale deeply. Exhale, can you do 3 more? 3 more little bitty push-ups. Then on the next one, we're gonna go all the way down. We're gonna take the chest down. And then the belly, and we're lying on the ground. So we're gonna come up on the forearms. So we're coming up on the forearms. We've been doing a lot of work with Sphinx pose. So we're coming on the forearms. Elbows are under the shoulders or a little forward of the shoulders. Can you remember where that hyoid bone is? At the front of the throat. Draw it back. And I feel the tops of my thighs on the ground, my knees. Lift the low belly right above the pubic bone, away from the floor. And now, can you keep that lifted to support the front of the spine? And begin to lift at the top of the breastbone. I'm keeping that space of my throat still back. Pressing into that wide part of the forearm. Great. All right. And then exhale. Let's release. Take the elbows wide. You come all the way down. Place your hands along the side ribs. Inhale and exhale. Can you lift the pubic bone away towards the navel so the pelvis picks up? And then you're going to push yourself away from the floor. And back to child's pose. Okay, thank you so much. Now, let's take a blanket. I just want to do a few cobras. So you're going to take a blanket. We're going to use a little blanket support. That blanket support is to support this whole piece we've been doing with the low back not getting compressed in cobra. So that when you come over, you've got the blanket. It's probably between somewhere, we all have a different length torso, but it's, for me it comes, and I have a very short torso, so I don't have a big waistline. But this is going from my lower ribs to really the hip points are just barely on the blanket. All right, so we're gonna lie all the way down. Take the hands back. Press them into finding the blanket. So you have to push the blanket out of the way probably. Elbows are close into the body, not wide. Elbows are close in. And connect to the lower body, please. And then can you find a little tone in the belly? And then begin to lift. By drawing the hands back, can you lift at the top of the breastbone? Can you broaden across the underside of the collarbones? Hyoid, that throat space. And then lower down. Take the hands, make a pillow, and rest. Come up on your forearms for just a moment. Can you take either one of your hands or both of your hands and just feel where your jaw is, the back of the jaw. Take the chin a little towards the throat. Drop off the back of that jawbone onto the throat. A little wide, but onto your throat. And swallow. And you might feel where that movement is when you swallow in the throat right there. That is where the hyoid is. This is not the Adam's apple. The Adam's apple is the thyroid cartilage. Okay, so you get a sense of like, okay, Lynn, thanks. I couldn't remember where that was. But let this lead you as you come into this next cobra, because it's cueing also your abdominals, the deep ones that are at the front of the spine. So come down again. Forehead can be on the ground or the chin if you need to do it that way. Hands press back. I notice my legs on the ground. And then can you connect the legs, tone the inner thighs, and then a little tone in the belly, and then begin to pull the hands isometrically towards the feet. Lift at the top of the breastbone. I'm keeping my elbows close in. Now I'm lifting from that throat space. And exhale, lower. We're going to inhale to all fours. And exhale to child's pose. And you can draw the blanket back and use it maybe to go under your forehead. All right, then I'm going to use my blanket, or if my knees are grumpy or something, I'm going to use 2 blankets. Crawl up on those, get my blocks. All right, so now I've got my blocks, and I'm going to step left foot forward. I'm going to open the front of the right thigh. So left foot forward, right knee down. And I'm going to walk the blocks back. Lift through even as I'm lengthening out the top of the right thigh, we're getting used to remembering that we want a little tone between the right pubic bone and the right inner hip joint. The right inner hip, so a little tone. Oh, I notice when I engage there, I feel a little more rising. That happens through the right low belly when I have a little tone. Then I can start to lift through the top of the breastbone. I'm still drawing the throat back. And then we'll release that. Let's switch legs. I like to slide my blocks forward. Let's step my right foot forward. Right knee comes forward of my right ankle when I have my left knee supported. Then I'm going to walk my blocks back. And as I continue releasing through the top of the left thigh, the left thigh releasing towards the left knee, I know that I want a little tone right between the left pubic bone and the inner left hip. And when I engage that, I actually feel a lift that comes through the left side of me above it. And I'm wondering, can I take the lift? Can I do this? And can you keep lifting through the sternum, your upper breastbone, is your throat. Where is it? How's that cueing the, you can notice, like, if you lift your chin up, what happens through the back body? So how do you draw the throat back? And then I'm going to release that. And step 2, downward facing dog, or you might take puppy. And here's a great opportunity just to drop back into your breathing, to drop back into that deep Ujjayi breathing. Breath traveling in, breath traveling out. Let's walk the hands toward the feet if you're in downward dog. If you're in puppy, just walk the hands back. And we're all going to come up to standing. I'm going to move my blankets out of the way because there they are. And then come all the way up to standing. And now we're going to take side angle. We're going to add a little vinyasa in side angle. I'm just going to tilt this a little bit up. So do you have your blocks? So you'll have them, you know, one on the left, one on the right. Yes. Okay, so we're going to go to side angle, and then once we're in side angle, we're going to turn that into a plank pose, all right? Let's take the right foot out and the left back foot slightly in. Pretty long stance, okay? Inhale, take the arms out. Exhale, Parshvakonasana, side angle. Because we're looking for, why are we doing side angle? Right now, I want a little more length in your side body. Oh my gosh, feels so good. As if I wanted to get a little more sun on my side body from the crest of the pelvis, reaching into the back heel. And then from the crest of the pelvis, can you lengthen up to the lower ribs on that sky side? Take one more deep inhale. Exhale, you're gonna drop the arm, turn towards the ground, pick up the back heel, and step to plank. Your next exhale, lightly touch the knees. Inhale again. Exhale, bring the chest down. Connect through the thighs, the inner thighs. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, seal pose. So you keep lifting. Remember the tone that you were looking at. Remember the tone between your pubic bone and just the inner hip. That can be helpful. And then we lower back down. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, downward dog. Or puppy. step toward the hands, walk toward your hands. Excuse me. Hands up on the hips. Inhale, come up. Exhale, your hands in front of your heart. Relax both arms, and you're going to take a wide stance. We're going to do the second side. So, left foot out, right foot in. Block at the outer left shin. Inhale the arms wide when you're ready. Exhale, side angle. Great, yeah. In your side angle. Good. Yes. Is your yeah, like that. So is your right shoulder blade wrapping around the side body? Yes. Good. And then Ingrid, on the left inner thigh, lengthen it towards your knee. Take your your right knee. Take your right knee towards your little toe. Yeah, that's better, Ingrid. Good. Diane, you might try straightening your right arm, straighten your right elbow. Reach. Yes, there you go. Great. Good. And is your front knee bent? I can't tell, Ann Bromley. Is your front knee bent for side angle? Maybe it isn't. I just can't tell. Katie, I would explore the right shoulder blade. Wrap it a little forward. Around, yeah, like that. Now reach all the way out in your arm. Yes, great. Beautiful, Linda, that looks really good. Great, wonderful, Carol, cool, nice. And Lise, I don't know how the elbow is, and maybe you're bending it a lot right now just to do it, but you might, you can just explore that. Looks beautiful, everyone. Really beautiful, great, great. And then let's inhale, come up. Oh no, we're not coming up. I lied. I forgot. We got to go back down. We're going down to plank. I get distracted by all that sculptures I was seeing, moving sculptures. Now you're in your plank pose and breathing. Really feeling this from the inner thighs, the tone in the belly. The lift, again, base of the skull. And then we'll lightly touch the knees to the ground. And exhale, let's bring the chest down. Great, inhale, cobra. You can stay just with cobra. You might press up to seal pose. And then lower. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, puppy or downward dog. And then let's walk toward your hands. Shift them to your hips. Inhale, come up. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. And then release the arms. Excuse me. Maybe I need a drink of water. All right. Here's what I wanted to use the chair for. And if you don't want to use the chair, you could do the low lunge. I'll show you the chair first. Then I'll show you the version without the chair. I've got my chair, and I'm going to take a blanket or two. I really liked the two I used a moment ago. It was so nice and squishy. And some of you, you know, might want a little padding on the chair seat. Let me make sure you can see me. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so now I'm gonna use this to lengthen the front of the thigh a little more. So I'm gonna put my right knee on the blanket, the left foot on the chair, and step my other foot, my right foot on the chair. How did I say that? And then I'm gonna step my other foot forward. I'm not bringing my pelvis back to my heel. I'm gonna slide it forward. So this is what I'm using the chair for, is to open through the front of the right thigh. So if you don't have a chair, you could build up, you know, with bolsters and all sorts of stuff, just to put the foot a little higher than the knee. That's the way that I would do it. When the foot is higher than the knee, you could put it on the couch as well, or whatever, you know, you get the drift. You've got your foot higher than the knee on that side. And then let the left knee come a little forward of the left ankle. You can draw the blocks back, be on your fingertips. And then can you lengthen the middle of the right thigh? There was almost a moment of whimpering. Towards the top, towards the lower right thigh. Oh, yeah, okay. And then the lower right thigh towards the knee. Can you find the psoas pathway, a little lift from the right inner thigh all the way up the front of the lumbar spine? A little tone is helpful. Can this connect all the way up towards your heart? And from your heart to your throat. All right, second side. So we put the left knee on the cushions, the blankets, the pillows, whatever. Right foot forward, left foot higher than the left knee. I'm gonna let my right knee go in front of my right ankle a little bit. So, you know, if you wanna have the blocks forward and just work there, you can. Otherwise, we take the blocks, we make them taller, we pull them back. I take my fingertips to my blocks. Now, as you bring your attention into the middle of the back quad, can you lengthen that left quad toward the lower left quad? The middle quad towards the lower quad. I know, it's not easy. Woohoo! The lower quad towards the left knee. I'm so happy about my two blankets under my left leg there. Keep going. So then, can you find, I'm gonna come over and look, can you find at the upper inner thigh, from the upper inner thigh, can you connect all the way up into the low back? Oh yeah, and Ingrid, you're on the other side, just so you know. So your instructions are, you just need to flip them for your body. Can you go from that? Yeah, that looks good, Anne. I like the use of the wall. Good thinking. Mm-hmm. Good. That's it. So from that inner thigh up the front of the psoas, can you find a link to the heart? Heart, heart, heart lifts up. There you go. Good, good. That's it. Great. All right. Yeah, and then come out. I know. It's really something, isn't it? It's really something, those thighs. Great. Okay. And then you come out of that. And then can you take another puppy or downward dog pose? Move your furniture out of the way, whatever. And then we'll lower both knees and take another moment of child's pose. And if the knees are okay with you, with the deep flexion of taking the sit bones toward the heels, I like to prioritize that. So I'm not concerned about the head. I often stack my fists, or I could use a block to rest my forehead on, or blankets. Okay. All right, great. And so then, like Ingrid, if you're leaving at 10, you might want to start heading towards your resting, Shavasana. You know, if you're leaving at 10, take 5 before. The rest of us, we are going to take bow pose, half bow pose. We'll do half bow pose. So I can show you. I'm going to come down on the floor. I'm going to bend the, what am I bending? Sorry, let me think here. I'm going to bend my right leg. And when I reach back with my right hand, I'm going to reach it with my thumb up. So I'm actually have my thumb, and some of you might need a strap. So you would have a strap around the foot if you can't reach your foot. My thumb is matching my big toe. I'm going to turn my left forearm to be parallel with the front of my mat. This is a half bow pose. And I am, I'm taking my my leg, I'm reaching it into my hand. Okay, so let's take a half bow with the right side, lay on the belly, bend the right knee, reach back, right thumb finds the ball of the right foot or your strap. Then I want you to press into your left forearm. And again, where's the front of the throat? Reach your foot into your hand. And then release. You can release that, come all the way to the floor, just take a moment. So again, I could just lasso my foot if it's not good for me to reach back, but we're gonna come up on the forearms again. Bend the left knee, reach the left hand back. So the left arm is externally rotating. It's finding like my thumb is finding the ball of my foot. I'm going to rotate my right forearm to be parallel with the front of my mat. Press down into that wide part of my forearm and start to reach my foot into my hand. And release. Come down, rest. And then you could lasso, make the loop bigger on your strap if you're using your strap, to take it around both feet, because we're going to bend both knees, reach our arms back, and lift into bow pose. Back of the neck long. And release. Hands come down, press into the ground, push yourself up. You can either do child's pose or go ahead and roll onto your back. Some of you, because for some of you, child's pose probably isn't, doesn't feel good. So those of you that child's pose feels good, you can go there. Those of you it doesn't, lay on the back and draw the knees up. Alrighty, great. Okay, then let's come onto your back. And can we have a stack of blankets, like 2 or 3 blankets off to one side? You might even, if you just have 2 blankets, you might take your 2 blocks, because we're going to do a twist with some support. So I'm going to take my 2 blocks end to end off to my left side. And I'm going to stack 2 of my blankets on top of that. If you had a bolster or whatever, who knows? Maybe I need another one. Then you're going to lie down, knees back, feet on the ground, arms wide. And then you're going to shift the hips a couple inches away from, a few inches away from the stack, straighten the left leg and twist toward this support so that I'm lying on my left outer hip and I have my left knee, shin, ankle on the support. Arms are wide. How can you continue to let go? Even it's just the smallest amount of releasing. How does that reverberate through the whole body? All right. Then we're going to come away from that one. So you can either move your props or just turn your body around and face the other way. And then again, if whatever side the stack is on, you're going to shift the hips a few inches away, straighten the bottom leg, arms wide, and twist. It does, and you might also notice, like, if you tone the straight leg, inner thigh, just notice what that does. Then you can relax, rest. All right. Nice. Okay, let's come out of that. Bring everything back to center. So pubic bone, navel, heart, throat, nose. All right. So if you have a chair, you'll put that chair on your mat, and you can pad your chair. I'll show you two options at least, and I'm sure there's more depending on what furniture you have. I might also put a blanket under me here. That could be nice. But when I come back here, I'm going to pull the chair pretty close and hook my feet through the back. Support the calves are supported, but I'm going to let the legs kind of be a supported Baddha Konasana there with my legs up on the chair. If I don't have the seat of a chair, I'm going to build something that allows my ankles to be as high as my knees. So I might, some people have like an ottoman or something, or maybe I'll take my 2 blocks and I just start stacking things on top of those, blankets. Cats, dogs. No, Diego, not now, right? All right, so I'm gonna make that a little tower. And if I have a tower, I'm gonna scoot close to it, really close, and come into this one. So I could have Baddha Konasana with my legs up on a chair, or I could have Baddha Konasana with my shins supported. Then I can slide my legs from the seat of the chair or off of my little stack, bring my knees up and take Happy Baby with either hands at the back of the thighs, hands might be on the shins. And I'm going to bring my knees a little closer together just to get a sense of that sacrum, low back area. So that I notice when my knees are wide apart, what is it like at the back of the sacrum? And when I just begin to scoop my knees a little closer, what's it like? What's the width that you want to have between your knees today? Then you'll release that. And here you have another choice. You could either just, maybe you still have your little stack and you might just rest the legs over that. Or maybe you have your chair and you'll put the calves on the seat of the chair. Pick something that I do want the legs to be a little elevated, so either the knee, either you have that stack underneath your knees, or maybe they're up on some couch or a chair or some piece of furniture, you know, but if you have them up on a chair, can you get the whole back of the calf? If you have them on a chair or a couch, get close enough that the whole back of the calf, all the way to the back of the knee, is supported. You can begin to deepen your breath. The breath traveling in, just as we are getting ready to be ready. In our own body, in our own self, in our own courage, our deepest courage to be fully here. As you begin to awaken your body to movement, awakening and rolling over to one side, pausing on your side for a moment. And then using the support of your arms to come back up to sitting. Join your hands in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Stay cool. Drink lots of water. Sip, sip, sip all day long. Let's see. I'll stop the recording.